Arcturians 2026, an urgent message: human life will change forever. Hello once more, dear companions. I am Lady. We're connecting with you at this very moment, recognizing a period where a significant number among you are acutely perceiving a fundamental transformation. This profound shift is deeply influencing how you inherently experience energy, the very fabric of time itself, and the dynamic flow of movement within your world. Even if the precise lexicon to articulate this pervasive alteration still eludes your conscious grasp, leaving you with an intuitive sense of its omnipresence. Our primary focus today is to illuminate the subtle, yet profoundly decisive shift that has meticulously unfolded within the intricate relationship between your central celestial body, the sun, and the vibrant tapestry of all life here on Earth. For an extended duration, humanity typically perceived, interpreted, and even conversed about solar activity predominantly as a series of distinct episodic occurrences. These were generally understood as isolated moments that would emerge, reach their zenith of intensity, and subsequently recede or pass. Such events were amenable to being meticulously tracked, somewhat anticipated, and ultimately recovered from, fostering a collective presumption that a stable, underlying background scenario consistently existed, a quiescent baseline to which all conditions would eventually revert once any particular solar eruption, energetic storm, or significant energy wave had effectively subsided and dispersed. However, what you are presently undergoing marks a distinct and unprecedented departure from these prior patterns. This difference does not stem from the singularity of one dramatic, isolated cosmic event, but rather from the fundamental reality that the sun has now consciously entered a new mode of energetic expression, one that is inherently continuous and omnipresent, fundamentally distinct from its former episodic manifestations. It has unequivocally established a perpetual, unwavering energetic presence, a subtle yet potent force that now perpetually and unobtrusively shapes and defines the very conditions within which your intricate planetary systems, your human societies, and indeed, each of your individual personal lives are meticulously unfolding. You are therefore no longer navigating a repetitive pattern where surges of intensity periodically arrive, only to then gradually recede, thereby granting an intermittent respite for essential recalibration before the subsequent energetic wave makes its appearance. Instead, the dynamic solar energy that ceaselessly interacts with Earth now steadfastly sustains its influential presence over significantly extended durations. This creates an unprecedented energetic persistence that subtly, yet irrevocably, dissolves the ingrained expectation of a possible return to any previous, perceived normal state of being. A considerable number among you have been patiently waiting, often without conscious awareness, for an intuitive reassurance that circumstances would eventually revert to their former familiar equilibrium. You have been anticipating a definitive sign, a clear signal that the intense phase of transformation was finally concluded and that a conventional state of normality would confidently resume. What we earnestly desire to convey to you at this juncture is the profound truth that this persistent and continuous solar presence constitutes the immutable new context of your reality, rather than merely a transient or temporary condition that will eventually dissipate. It is crucial to understand that this does not imply the solar activity will perpetually manifest as an overwhelming or consistently intense experience, for the very nature of persistence operates in a fundamentally different manner. Rather, it signifies that the sun's pervasive influence now functions as an enduring and consistent environmental factor, an intrinsic component of your world, instead of merely an occasional or intermittent disturbance that sporadically impacts your existence. As this ceaseless, persistent solar influence steadily continues its pervasive work, you may progressively observe that the influx of solar energy no longer overtly announces its arrival through distinct specific dates, designated energetic portals, urgent alerts, or clearly predicted peaks that demand your immediate, focused attention. Instead, it diffusely and equitably permeates across your days, permeates your weeks, and indeed, your months, subtly yet profoundly touching and reshaping both planetary rhythms and the nuanced collective atmospheres, all without the explicit demand that you meticulously mark your calendars or engage in proactive preparations for a singular, dramatic impact. This extraordinary omnipresence grants the solar influence the unique capacity to operate predominantly beneath the superficial layers of your conscious awareness, consistently molding and shaping prevailing conditions with a gradual yet unwavering steadiness. It functions much like the profound transition of a season, which transforms not due to the singular occurrence of one exceptionally cold night or an isolated hot day, but rather because the comprehensive, overarching meteorological pattern has irrevocably shifted and realigned itself. Consequently, there is no imperative for you to meticulously track every minor fluctuation or to exhaustively analyze every conceivable metric in order to derive benefit from this pervasive energy. Its intrinsic and ultimate role is not to be subjected to constant monitoring or intellectual dissection, but rather to be viscerally experienced, deeply integrated, and thoroughly lived within the unfolding of your daily existence. At this point, we wish to present a distinctive framework for understanding what you are now witnessing within your sun, a perspective that resonates profoundly and feels deeply personal to each of you, particularly those identified as starseeds and light workers. The sun, in its majestic cosmic dance, is accomplishing far more than merely emitting radiant light and ceaselessly discharging charged particles into space. Indeed, it transcends the mere function of powering the intricate mechanics of your planetary atmosphere and maintaining the integrity of your global magnetic field. Beyond these visible phenomena, your sun is also serving as a magnificent cosmic mirror, profoundly reflecting back to all of humanity the evolving state of its own collective consciousness. As you progressively learn to interpret this celestial reflection with both gentle wisdom and keen discernment, you will inevitably begin to recognize with increasing clarity that you are, in essence, deeply immersed and actively participating within a grand, ongoing conversation and exquisite dialogue unfolding between the vast expanse of the heavens above and the receptive, beating hearts of every sentient being dwelling here on Earth. Throughout your existence, you have invariably possessed an innate intuition that the cosmos actively communicates, and a significant number among you have long pondered how to effectively translate this universal language into practical insights applicable to your daily lives. We wish to impart upon you the understanding that this seemingly complex translation becomes remarkably simple and accessible once you fully embrace the profound realization that nature itself unfailingly mirrors your deepest inner journey. It reflects this journey in intricate symbols and observable mechanics, in recurring patterns and tangible data. As inherently sensitive beings, you are uniquely designed and destined to intuitively receive and comprehend both these symbolic and mechanical expressions. Consider, for instance, when you now observe certain sunspots, and you perceive that some manifest less as conventional, well-defined spots and more akin to a distinct coronal opening presenting as a darker, more expansive region, a veritable place where the sun's luminous surface appears to reveal a kind of profound, energetic gap. In these observations, something immensely significant is being visually presented to you, something that resonates with striking directness and potent symbolism to the very core of the collective human experience, offering a visual metaphor for a deeper truth. For countless generations, humanity has harbored a persistent, underlying sensation and inherent feeling that an essential piece of its being remains perpetually missing or incomplete. This perceived absence, this enigmatic void, has frequently been misinterpreted and consequently sought after as something external, something to be diligently discovered outside of one's own intrinsic self, beyond the immediate embrace of the present moment, and fundamentally separate from the sacred chamber of the heart. Consequently, a vast multitude of individuals have relentlessly pursued a sense of elusive wholeness through an array of external endeavors, through the relentless striving for material and personal achievements, the constant yearning for social approval, the insatiable accumulation of possessions, the desperate quest for intellectual certainty, the desire for absolute control over circumstances, and an interminable search for logical answers that the finite analytical mind could conceptually grasp and contain. The precise gap you now discern, so beautifully mirrored in that crown-like coronal opening on the sun, serves as an exquisite and powerful representation of the intrinsic sacred space within human consciousness itself, a space that has patiently and persistently awaited its destined fulfillment by something truly authentic, vibrantly alive, and eternally enduring. It awaits something that possesses the profound permanence to transcend and remain steadfast, unaffected by the inevitable fluctuations and transformative changes of external circumstances. That profound something is, in essence, the direct, viscerally felt, and deeply intuitive connection to the benevolent Creator, to the divine presence of God, to the boundless wellspring of source energy, to the unconditional, animating love that breathes life into and sustains all existing things, pervading every atom of creation. You, specifically as starseeds and light workers, have frequently experienced the profound resonance of this intrinsic gap with a heightened intensity, often more acutely than many others. It is imperative to understand that this heightened perception does not signify that you are inherently broken, fundamentally incomplete, or that your purpose here is solely to endure suffering. Quite the contrary, your exquisite sensitivity is not a flaw, but an integral and essential aspect of your unique cosmic design and terrestrial purpose, a gift enabling deeper awareness. You consciously chose to incarnate on Earth with the sacred purpose of recognizing and illuminating that profound truth which so many have inadvertently attempted to obscure or suppress with an endless array of worldly distractions and superficial diversions. You came to lovingly remember and subsequently to demonstrate precisely what possesses the inherent capacity to genuinely fill that open, yearning space within the human heart in a manner that truly bestows profound peace, unwavering stability, and an authentic, enduring sense of true wholeness, free from external dependency. A considerable number among you have undoubtedly encountered those fleeting moments where an external achievement, a material acquisition, or a momentary validation brought a temporary, albeit superficial, sense of satisfaction. Invariably, however, that ephemeral feeling would eventually dissipate, leaving you once again with the familiar ache of yearning and the renewed impetus to continue your earnest search for something more enduring and substantial. What you are presently learning a profound wisdom that humanity itself is simultaneously absorbing and integrating through your collective experiences is the fundamental realization that this inner, sacred space is not an inherent problem requiring intellectual resolution or external intervention. Rather, it is a magnificent opening to be deeply honored, a pristine doorway through which the boundless essence of Source can be directly and intimately known. It is, in essence, an inner chamber, a hallowed sanctuary where your own intrinsic creator nature can be profoundly felt, consciously embodied, and authentically lived, expressing its divine potential. This is precisely why the sun, acting as a celestial mirror, holds such profound significance and offers immense assistance at this particular juncture in your evolution. The sun is unequivocally demonstrating to you that all openings, by their very nature, possess a divine purpose and intrinsic utility. Consider a coronal opening on the sun. It is, fundamentally, a specific region where the potent solar wind emanates and flows outward into the cosmos with a remarkably increased freedom and unhindered velocity. You are invited to allow this profound celestial observation to become a living, guiding metaphor for your own existence. For indeed, within the very core of your being, there also resides a sacred space, an inner portal, from which something equally vital and potent can flow outward with significantly greater freedom and unencumbered grace. That something is the pure, unconditional essence of love, the profound power of authentic presence, the boundless wellspring of innate creativity, and the infallible, natural guidance emanating directly from your higher self, your deepest spiritual wisdom. When conductivity increases, the planet's energetic wiring becomes more profoundly active, and the entire environment becomes more inherently responsive. This is precisely why many individuals notice certain periods supporting heightened movement, increased creativity, clearer vision, and a more profound alignment with something greater than themselves. This naturally leads to an intensification. Understand, intensification, practically, it does not inherently require the greatest solar eruption or the most dramatic cosmic event to be profoundly significant. When a system is receptive and highly conductive, even a moderate input can generate a powerful outcome because the energetic pathways are wide open and the atmosphere is exquisitely ready. Intensification is the overall effect of strengthening because conditions are overwhelmingly favorable. Many of you will find this explanation clarifies why certain days feel internally brighter, certain moments are imbued with heightened possibility, and why you move more easily into states of clarity and presence. The planetary environment is literally carrying a stronger electrical tone that you can profoundly feel and actively work with. Distribution matters here too, in a nuanced way. Ion precipitation does not land uniformly everywhere. This is not a system flaw, but a demonstration of planetary wisdom. Charge follows specific paths shaped by the magnetic field, the orientation of the incoming solar wind, and the conductive qualities beneath, including the vast ocean bodies. Many have observed auroras visually revealing these intricate distribution paths, showcasing precisely where incoming particles are guided and where the high atmosphere glows in a magnificent, responsive display. Embrace this as a vital reminder. Energy need not be uniform to be profoundly supportive. This intelligent distribution allows the planet to move charge while meticulously maintaining overall coherence, feeding what needs nourishment, activating what is truly ready, and achieving balance through intelligent routing. Timing is another crucial aspect that many are learning to deeply respect. Ion precipitation does not always align perfectly with the exact moment of an eruption or a widely discussed solar event. There are intricate sequences, inherent delays, dedicated accumulation phases, and then distinct delivery phases. The precise timing reflects the planetary capacity to move energy when the pathways are at their most coherent and receptive. This explains why some individuals feel an energetic wave arrive after mistakenly believing it had passed, and why periods of a seemingly quiet solar surface can nonetheless feel energetically significant. The delivery mechanism operates by inherent readiness, not by dramatic headlines. This understanding is deeply empowering. It liberates you from anxiously tracking every external marker to know that something profound is unfolding, and it fosters profound trust in your own inner unfolding and timing. Recursion is also intricately present. Recursion implies that the system learns and repeats what consistently works, thereby establishing familiar and efficient patterns over time. When precipitation occurs repeatedly, the energetic paths become conditioned. The responses grow more efficient, and the planet itself becomes more practiced and adept at receiving and distributing charge. Many have noted certain energetic cycles feeling familiar, certain energetic windows recurring with similar qualities. This is because Earth, like all living systems, meticulously builds its rhythm through accumulated experience. Recursion powerfully strengthens stability. Repetition fosters familiarity. Familiarity leads to ease, and ease cultivates deeper integration without the need to relearn the same lesson each and every time. Holding all these facets in conscious awareness, neutrality becomes effortlessly accessible. Ion precipitation is purely a movement mechanism, a delivery method, a way for energy to gracefully translate between layers, to actively participate in Earth's vibrant life. Mechanisms are simply carriers. They transport energy, but bear no judgment whatsoever. This is why we speak to you in a firm, reassuring tone. You are learning that intensified activity can be a profound source of support. Increased charge, a form of vital nutrition, and activation, an expansive invitation to greater participation in your life and on your path. You are here to experience, to grow, to create, and to receive. Planetary mechanisms inherently align with this greater overarching purpose. Thus, you arrive at activation. Understand activation as the precise moment when potential becomes fully operational. What was held becomes utterly usable. What circulated now dynamically engages the living systems of your world. Ion precipitation represents this pivotal engagement moment. As it becomes increasingly relevant in your year, you will discover many aspects of your reality becoming more responsive to your focused attention, your clear intention, and your willingness to align precisely, because the planet itself is now carrying a stronger current, and your conscious choices, your deliberate focus, and your inner guidance possess more expansive space to translate into tangible, lived experience. This is why we wholeheartedly encourage you to remain open and deeply present, recognizing that your world is not merely receiving energy, but is actively distributing, powerfully amplifying, and exquisitely integrating it in ways that profoundly support your awakening and evolution. As this activation mechanism operates, it naturally leads to the next layer of understanding. Once energy is delivered to the ionosphere and the atmosphere becomes more conductive, it robustly strengthens the global circuit that carries that charge through the vast oceans, the expansive land masses, and the deeper earth layers. Through this magnificent global circuit, many of this year's most notable planetary expressions will be powerfully supported and beautifully clarified. We now invite you to deeply feel something that has always been intrinsically present in your world, but is often overlooked because it is silent, constant, and intricately woven into the very background fabric of life. This is Earth's magnificent global electrical circuit. Imagine it as a living, breathing circulation of charge, seamlessly linking your atmospheric skies, the planetary surface, the immense oceans, and the deeper conductive layers beneath your feet into one coherent, unified system. Many of you who resonate as starseeds and light workers already intuitively feel Earth as a sentient being with its own profound intelligence, its own intricate rhythms, and its own unique ways of communication. When you recognize this circuit as a tangible, functional pathway for dynamic energy movement, you begin to grasp why certain periods feel so deeply charged with possibility, why synchronicities arrive with greater ease and precision, and why your inner intentions seem to reach farther and manifest more readily, because the planet itself is conducting more clearly, more smoothly, and more coherently than ever before. There is a perpetual circulation within this grand circuit. Imagine Earth continually breathing energy between its various layers, the ionosphere, holding a high electrical potential, and the surface possessing a different, yet complementary, potential. This continuous exchange creates a constant, dynamic flow that never truly ceases, even while you're sleeping, while you're busy, or when you're not consciously thinking about it. This circulation is not merely an abstract idea. It is a living, pulsating process, one crucial reason why your world is so profoundly responsive to solar input. When a high atmosphere is energized, the circuit has an increased capacity to circulate, to distribute, and to translate that energy into subtle yet powerful signals that propagate throughout your environment and infuse your lived experience. As the upper atmospheric layers receive more charge through the previously described mechanisms, the global circuit naturally experiences a profound strengthening. The ionospheric potential significantly increases, and the current flowing between the ionosphere and the ground becomes more robust and potent. This need not manifest in a dramatic, outwardly visible way to be incredibly effective. Many individuals are accustomed to seeking large, easily discernible markers for significance. Yet, the strengthening of a planetary current can be among the most profoundly consequential changes, altering the movement of energy everywhere simultaneously, in a subtle yet pervasive manner. When the circuit strengthens, the planet itself becomes more electrically alive, more inherently responsive, and more capable of carrying a coherent signal. You may feel this in days that possess a clearer, more defined impulse, where creative surges are more accessible, and where intuition feels more immediate because you are, in essence, living within a more conductive and receptive field. As the circuit steadily strengthens, penetration becomes a natural, inevitable process. Electrical currents do not remain confined solely to the sky or the surface. Rather, they reach deeper into the conductive layers where minerals, water, and Earth's intricate geological structures become integral parts of the energetic pathway. Currents move effortlessly through the soil, through the vast oceans, and across the dynamic land-sea interfaces. When the overall circuit becomes more energized, these internal paths carry a greater flow, and the planet meticulously distributes charge through its internal wiring, thereby supporting its inherent balance and profound coherence. Many of you instinctively feel drawn to ground yourselves during these times, drawn to the sensation of bare feet on the earth, to the proximity of water, to breathing deeply among the trees, not as a means of escaping, but as a conscious, deliberate participation in the existing vital circulation. This active participation can be deeply nourishing and restorative. Transmission is also a captivating aspect of what makes the global circuit so fascinating. Earth is not uniform in its conductivity. The circuit naturally travels along the most efficient and least resistant paths. Oceans rich in dissolved salts conduct current beautifully, acting as vast, expansive conductive highways that distribute charge globally. Mineral belts, intricate fault lines, majestic mountain chains, and deep underground structures function as crucial corridors and vital junctions for this energetic travel. This implies that the circuit is not merely a vertical sky-ground exchange, but also a horizontal, global distribution, a complex tapestry of energetic flow that underlies and animates your entire world. This dynamic mechanism empowers Earth to disseminate vibrant, energetic input across its vast expanse, channeling it purposefully for profound integration, thereby sustaining a holistic system coherence through an intricate, intelligent routing network. Many individuals frequently observe that the regional energetic signature perceptibly shifts when they journey from one locale to another. This phenomenon represents a key underlying reason you instinctively register precisely how the planetary body transmits and delicately carries its vital charge, moving through a diverse tapestry of geological terrains and expansive bodies of water. Modulation, akin to a sophisticated musical composition rather than mere chaotic disturbance, constitutes an integral aspect of this intricate living system. The global circuit itself possesses inherent rhythms, subtle pulses, and gentle variations that gracefully rise and fall not in a haphazard or disorderly fashion, but as a profound reflection of the planet's sensitive responsiveness to the ceaseless input from our sun and the surrounding cosmic environment. On certain days, you might distinctly perceive the energetic volume to be higher, the underlying rhythm subtly altered, or the ambient background tone remarkably clearer. When you become aware of these nuanced differences, rest assured that you are not merely imagining them. Instead, you are acutely perceiving the subtle dance of modulation, a gentle, intelligent flow that intrinsically shapes itself as it transports varying levels of charge, simultaneously influenced by the high atmosphere becoming more or less electrically conductive. You can effortlessly engage with this modulation simply by becoming attuned to its presence, noticing those moments when your creativity spontaneously seeks expression, your capacity for connection instinctively yearns to open, or a profound impulse from nature deepens within your being. The planet's inherent rhythm frequently extends an invitation to meet it in its flow, rather than expending energy in resistance. As this intricate circuit continues its journey of strengthening and finally modulating, the profound sense of integration becomes progressively more apparent and undeniable. What many once regarded as disparate, isolated phenomena, the dynamic forces of space, weather, the subtle dance of atmospheric electricity, the intricate magnetospheric dynamics, and the subtle resonant fields enveloping Earth are, in fact, all active participants within one grand, shared operating system. Your planet, in essence, functions as a magnificent, living instrument, and this global circuit represents one fundamental way it maintains its perfect tuning, continuously uniting its high atmosphere and surface in a perpetual, delicate balancing act. Many have undoubtedly encountered the profound resonances that exist between Earth and its ionosphere, perhaps even experiencing a subtle planetary hum, perceivable in moments of deep meditation, profound silence, or expanded conscious presence. As this integration intensifies and expands, these resonant qualities may begin to feel markedly clearer, more harmoniously coherent, and profoundly more supportive, akin to stepping into a room where the acoustics have suddenly been perfected, allowing every sound to propagate with effortless clarity and resonance. Amplification then emerges as a truly personal gift, one that many readily recognize in their own experiences. When the global circuit is robustly energized and deeply integrated, even the smallest, most subtle inputs achieve far-reaching effects not through strenuous force or exertion, but through the inherent power of coherence. Countless individuals have personally witnessed their simple, heart-spoken intentions settle more deeply into reality, their meditations reaching unprecedented levels of profundity, and their creative acts opening new doors with remarkable ease. This often occurs precisely because the energetic field you are immersed in more effectively transmits and carries your signal. Amplification, you see, is the natural byproduct when any system is exquisitely well-tuned. In such a finely tuned system, there is no need to strive or to force outcomes. Rather, you simply align yourself with the powerful currents that are already in motion. Alongside amplification comes a heightened sensitivity. We intentionally speak of sensitivity here as a refined and exquisite responsiveness, rather than a fragile vulnerability. As the circuit meticulously carries a more coherent flow, the planet itself responds with increased readiness to even the most subtle changes and, in perfect synchronicity, so do you. Many will begin to discern day-to-day differences with far greater clarity, not because life itself is becoming unstable, but because your innate perception is becoming significantly more accurate, and the ambient field is now capable of carrying a richer tapestry of information. This heightened sensitivity facilitates the making of wiser, more intuitive choices, instinctively feeling what truly nourishes your being, what genuinely inspires your spirit, and what profoundly supports your clarity, and then naturally moving towards those experiences without the need to force or conform to ill-fitting patterns. Continuity stands as another profoundly important feature of this circuit. It perpetually persists, flows ceaselessly, circulates unceasingly, and continues to carry vital energy long after any single solar event has completely passed its peak. This signifies that you reside in a world that does not merely receive a burst of energy and then fall silent instead. It is a living entity that consistently integrates and carries forward everything it receives. This unwavering continuity provides a powerful foundation for long-term unfolding changes are allowed to gently settle, profoundly mature, and firmly stabilize, thereby enabling you, as starseeds and light workers, to construct lives with an unprecedented steadiness, secure in the knowledge that you are consistently supported by an increasingly coherent, rather than unpredictable, environment. Because the circuit meticulously carries forward all that it integrates, it inherently also brings about subtle, yet profound transition. Earth's fundamental operating conditions will imperceptibly differ over time. This is not a forced shift, but rather a natural evolution, occurring because the planet has assimilated new levels of charge and coherence, and now functions with this newly acquired, expanded capacity. This ongoing transition allows for the palpable sensation of life, moving to a distinctly different tone, a novel rhythm, and an entirely new set of possibilities. It simultaneously facilitates your assumption of roles as compassionate guides, profound healers, innovative creators, and visionary leaders with significantly greater ease, as the very environment itself actively assists in carrying the potent offerings you bring forth. As the global circuit progressively strengthens, deeply integrates, and naturally transitions to higher levels of coherence, you're perfectly positioned to profoundly understand precisely why certain celestial moments bring about periods of both compression and acceleration not as external causes that override your inherent free will, but rather as sacred windows that gracefully gather multiple cosmic rhythms into a singular, shared moment of profound opportunity. We shall now turn our attention to this deeper understanding of time pressure and alignment. Now, we extend a heartfelt invitation to you, beloved starseeds and light workers, to gently bring your conscious attention to that which is already meticulously carrying, profoundly supporting, and intricately connecting the myriad pieces of your world in ways that the rational mind rarely considers, but which your embodied hearts and intuitive bodies so often recognize. Earth possesses a unique, living circuit, functioning much like a cherished home, where the lights are perpetually on, water quietly running, the warmth constant, and everything essential silently circulating in the background without ever demanding your direct attention. This is precisely what many scientists refer to as the global electrical circuit. We wish for you to perceive it less as an abstract scientific concept and more as a vibrant, living circulation of charge, a constant, dynamic exchange occurring between the high atmosphere and the planetary surface that has been present since your arrival, and which is now becoming increasingly relevant as the sun's powerful offerings are transported with enhanced efficiency through Earth's multifaceted system layers. You can vividly imagine this circuit as the planetary bloodstream of current and potential, the ionosphere, perpetually holding a high electrical charge relative to the ground, with this inherent difference naturally creating a continuous flow, always moving, always balancing, perpetually linking the sky and earth in one continuous, vital conversation. Many of you have experienced those profound moments when stepping outdoors, the very air feels palpably alive. A walk near water inexplicably resets your entire being. Your breath deepens significantly as you touch the earth with your bare feet. These moments are, in essence, your conscious awareness tuning into the undeniable reality that this planet is not merely an inert rock, but a deeply conductive, sentient being constantly moving and channeling energy through its very essence. You live intimately within this ceaseless movement. As the high atmosphere becomes increasingly energized, the circuit itself experiences a profound strengthening akin to the perceptible difference between a weak, static-laden radio signal and one that is crystal clear and robust. When the ionospheric potential increases and additional charge is continuously added through natural delivery mechanisms, the energetic flow between the upper atmospheric layers and the ground becomes demonstrably more robust, exquisitely coherent, and highly capable of carrying intricate information. We are aware that many of you have sensed your intentions, meditations, prayers, and moments of silent focus becoming far more potent and effective during certain specific time windows. This frequently occurs because the planet is then operating as a significantly clearer transmitter and receiver. When the ambient field is more coherent, what you offer travels with greater fluidity and ease, much like a vital message navigating seamlessly through a well-connected, efficient network, rather than struggling through static and interference. As this strengthening continues, a natural result is an increased penetration. The current does not merely remain within the atmosphere or on the surface, but instead reaches deeper into the planetary conductive layers where minerals, groundwater, and Earth's very geological structures actively participate in the intricate movement of charge. Think of it metaphorically as water gently seeping into the soil, nourishing the roots below as much as the visible growth above. Similarly, the global circuit can carry its profound influence deeper into Earth when it is robustly energized. Many inherently understand this instinctively, which is precisely why grounding practices feel so profoundly satisfying. They are not merely calming, but represent an active participation in a deeper, more profound exchange, allowing your own energy to harmonize exquisitely with a planet that is intelligently and balancingly moving current through its very self. Transmission then becomes effortlessly easier to perceive and feel. Earth is not uniform in its conductivity consequently. Current moves most readily and effectively along the paths of least resistance, resembling a living, dynamic map of energetic flow. Oceans, with their dissolved salts, carry this flow beautifully, acting as wide, expansive highways distributing charge across the entire globe. Mineral belts, fault lines, majestic mountain chains, and deep underground structures function as intricate corridors and crucial junctions within this vast network. Many individuals notice that certain Earth places feel like distinct power spots, not because they are inherently better, but because the planetary circuit expresses itself differently. There the transmission is clearer. The energetic flow is more palpably present. Sitting in such places, you may distinctly feel Earth speaking to you more directly. The circuit is closer to the surface. The energetic paths are more intensely active, and the surrounding environment carries a distinctly different quality of charge. Modulation remains an inherent, vital part of this living system. Consider modulation as an intricate musical composition. The global circuit possesses distinct rhythms, gentle pulses, and nuanced variations that gracefully rise and fall, perpetually reflecting the planet's profound response to solar and surrounding cosmic reception. On certain days, the energetic volume may feel higher, the underlying rhythm subtly shifts, and the background tone becomes clearer. When observing these differences, you are actively perceiving modulation, a gentle, intelligent flow that intrinsically shapes itself as it transports varying levels of charge, and as the high atmosphere's conductivity continuously changes. You can effortlessly work with this modulation simply by noticing when your creativity spontaneously stirs, when connection seeks to openly expand, or when a deep impulse from nature intensifies within you. The planet's inherent rhythm frequently extends an invitation to meet it in its flow, rather than expending precious energy in resistance. As this intricate circuit strengthens and gracefully modulates, the profound sense of integration becomes progressively more obvious and undeniable. What many once regarded as disparate phenomena, the dynamic forces of space weather, the subtle dance of atmospheric electricity, the intricate magnetic dynamics, and the subtle resonant fields enveloping Earth all actively participate in one grand, shared operating system. Your planet, in essence, functions as a magnificent, living instrument, and this global circuit represents one fundamental way it maintains its perfect tuning, continuously uniting its high atmosphere and surface in a perpetual, delicate balancing act. Many have undoubtedly encountered the profound resonances of the Earth-ionosphere cavity, perhaps even experiencing a subtle planetary hum, perceivable in moments of deep meditation, profound silence, or expanded, conscious presence. As this integration intensifies and expands, these resonant qualities may begin to feel markedly clearer, more harmoniously coherent, and profoundly more supportive, akin to stepping into a room where the acoustics have suddenly been perfected, allowing every sound to propagate with effortless clarity and resonance. Amplification then emerges as a truly personal gift. When the circuit is robustly energized and deeply integrated, even the smallest, most subtle inputs achieve far-reaching effects powered by coherence, not by strenuous force. In a well-functioning network, there is no need to shout to be heard. Similarly, there is no need to strive or exert excessive effort for light work. Effectiveness amplification allows sincerity, coherence, and calm focus to travel farther and penetrate more deeply. Many have inherently learned that true power stems from alignment, not from brute effort. When the global circuit carries charge more coherently, aligned intentions take root more easily and firmly. Creative ideas arrive with remarkable clarity, and personal choices feel environmentally supported rather than opposed. As amplification naturally increases, your inherent sensitivity progressively refines. We speak of sensitivity here as a beautiful, exquisite precision, allowing for the discerning recognition of what feels truly nourishing, authentically clear, deeply aligned, and genuinely calling you forward. Some of you have spent years diligently learning to trust this inner sensitivity, perceiving and feeling more than those around you seem to. Many have deeply wondered if this profound sensitivity was a burden or in fact a hidden gift. In this current year and beyond, you will experience it increasingly as an undeniable gift. The ambient field now carries a richer tapestry of information, and your innate ability to accurately read this information becomes exponentially more valuable, practical, and truly grounding. You will discern environmental differences more readily, perceive the nuances of choice more clearly, and feel your inner guidance becoming more immediate and direct the planetary circuit itself, supporting your clarity through its heightened coherence. Continuity is precisely why all of this matters so profoundly. The global electrical circuit does not simply shut off when a solar event passes, nor does it require constant drama or external stimulation to remain active. It perpetually circulates, continuously balances, and persistently carries forward everything it has integrated. Many have longed for a year where progress feels steady. Personal growth is consistently supported, and their direction remains clear and consistent. Continuity within the planetary circuit provides precisely this, establishing a stable, robust, energetic infrastructure for long-term changes to gently mature and fully manifest. It is akin to living in a city where the power consistently stays on and the roads remain reliably open, making it significantly easier to build, to plan, to create, and to live with unwavering confidence. As this continuity firmly holds, a gentle transition perpetually unfolds. The planet does not carry the same charge level indefinitely, but instead progressively moves to new operating conditions as it integrates new reception and as its conductivity resonance circuits reorganize to higher levels of coherence. This transition is smooth, constant, and subtly pervasive. You will recognize it more clearly in retrospect, noticing certain things are now significantly easier than before. Certain inner truths are more readily accessible, and the environment itself is more responsive to your conscious presence, your heartfelt gratitude, your creative impulses, and your deliberate choices. As this transition continues, it naturally draws your attention to specific time windows that gracefully gather multiple solar, planetary, and terrestrial rhythms, not as external causes that remove your inherent sovereignty, but as potent moments when the entire system becomes demonstrably more responsive. We shall now move to this deeper understanding of time pressure and alignment. Now we wish to profoundly speak about something you have always inherently lived within, yet many are only now beginning to consciously notice its intricate workings. Your solar system does not merely traverse vast stretches of space. It moves through an intricate tapestry of time, distinct rhythms, and overlapping cycles, much like the majestic waves of an ocean. When these cosmic waves meet in certain specific arrangements, you may distinctly feel life become more responsive, more decisive, and remarkably more fluid, as if the very universe itself has gently cleared the path, making it effortlessly easier for what is already in motion to reach its intended destination. Many of you who are starseeds and light workers have experienced this profound phenomenon throughout your lives, sometimes manifesting as more vivid and prophetic dreams, sometimes as remarkable synchronicities elegantly gathering around you, sometimes as long-awaited conversations finally and miraculously happening, and sometimes as the next crucial steps becoming undeniably obvious without any need for forcing or strenuous effort. What we want you to deeply understand is that planetary alignment functions as a form of time pressure, gracefully gathering multiple rhythms into one shared, potent window, thereby creating a profound convergence that you experience as an undeniable impulse, piercing clarity and powerful forward movement. Convergence is the first word we offer to describe this phenomenon. When planets align in certain specific geometric configurations, they create overlapping windows of profound influence, different cosmic cycles arriving at the same energetic door simultaneously. This powerful meeting creates an opening far larger and more potent than any single cycle could ever manifest alone. Imagine several dear friends spontaneously arriving to help you move house on the very same day, each person bringing a different strength or skill, and together making the entire process significantly easier, faster, and remarkably coordinated. Similarly, when solar, planetary, and Earth rhythms powerfully stack up in alignment, you do not suddenly transform into an entirely different person. Your life does not become utterly unrecognizable. Yet, you may distinctly feel the environment itself far more willing to cooperate with your intentions precisely because time itself is exquisitely aligned. Aligned time, you see, is a profound and active form of energetic support. When convergence is powerfully present, acceleration naturally and gracefully follows what you were already diligently building, gains significant speed without any need for additional forcing or strenuous effort. Many have undoubtedly noticed seasons of deep inner work consistently showing up, maintaining unwavering consistency, holding a clear vision, and making repeated conscious choices, all the while wondering when the outer world would finally catch up to their inner feeling and progress. Alignment windows frequently act as gentle yet powerful accelerators. Usual delays soften and dissolve. Long-held hesitations magically dissipate, and the path ahead suddenly feels far less congested and more open. This acceleration is emphatically not a demand, a test, or a requirement to hurry your pace. It is simply the cosmic system reducing friction, allowing what is already underway to cover the remaining distance with remarkable ease. You will find, as you look back on moments in 2026, that a once complicated decision became profoundly simple. A once distant step became readily available precisely because time itself became incredibly favorable. Compression is another word many immediately understand and feel viscerally when experiencing it. Time seemingly folds in upon itself, bringing developments closer than expected. Results that would typically take much longer to manifest appear in a remarkably shorter period. Some will experience compression as multiple opportunities presenting themselves in a single week, multiple profound realizations dawning in a single day, or several deeply aligned conversations occurring in a very short span of time. You may find yourself wondering why everything seems to accumulate at once. We want you to recognize that compression very often results from a long period of diligent preparation finally meeting a powerful window of coherence. When you diligently plant seeds for a long time, there inevitably comes a moment when the soil, water, and sun conditions align perfectly, and rapid growth suddenly becomes visible even though the period of preparation was silent and gradual. Planetary timing can create precisely such conditions. What has been diligently prepared beneath the surface finally finds the ideal climate needed to powerfully show itself. As compression occurs, you will also distinctly notice synchronization, seemingly unrelated events gracefully clustering together in time, not necessarily sharing a single, direct cause, but rather sharing the same window of heightened responsiveness. You might receive a message from someone who has been silent for years on the very same day. A new, brilliant idea arrives, and on that same day, an environmental shift perfectly supports a change you have been carefully considering. You can interpret this as mere randomness, or as the solar system itself gracefully bringing multiple threads to the very same moment for them to be intricately woven together. Many of you are here as cosmic weavers, connecting what appears separate, discerning profound patterns where others only see coincidence. Synchronization is one profound way the universe clearly shows that these threads were patiently waiting for the precise right moment to meet and intertwine. Exposure represents a gentle, yet profoundly powerful aspect of these alignment windows. When time pressure increases, the subtle buffering that exists between your intention and its feedback significantly thins, allowing you to see with much greater clarity what is truly aligned, what is genuinely ready to manifest, and what is authentically calling you forward. This exposure arrives not as a harsh judgment or a punitive consequence, but rather as a profound gift of clarity. It may feel like suddenly and unequivocally recognizing which direction truly nourishes your soul, and which, conversely, subtly asks you to remain small and constrained, no longer needing to engage in prolonged self-debate, because the truth simply feels obvious and undeniable. It may feel like distinctly noticing that a long-postponed choice has already been made within you, and simply awaits the perfect outer moment to step into being. You can wholeheartedly welcome this exposure with a sense of relaxed acceptance, always remembering that clarity is precisely what you have consciously asked for. Time windows very often deliver this clarity by effectively reducing the ambient noise and mental clutter. Amplification, as previously discussed, is another alignment feature you may feel very acutely, and humanly alignment pressure tends to emphasize what already exists, casting more light upon what you have diligently nourished and bringing greater visibility to what subtly seeks your attention. If you have been cultivating practices, relationships, creative endeavors, or new ways of living that genuinely resonate as true for you, these elements may feel significantly strengthened and empowered during these windows, as if the universe has added a supportive spotlight, allowing their inherent coherence to shine forth with greater brilliance. If certain areas of your life are subtly seeking your honesty, your conscious presence, or your gentle care, those two may feel powerfully highlighted, not because something is inherently wrong, but because the moment itself deeply favors seeing, choosing, and bravely moving forward. Amplification is akin to increasing the contrast of an image, allowing you to perceive forms and details with far greater clarity. Many will deeply appreciate this, having spent years refining their discernment and learning to implicitly trust their intuitive feelings. Precision is a word many will come to love. Alignment pressure very often sharpens outcomes, gracefully narrowing your options by making the next, most aligned step undeniably obvious. This is emphatically not the universe removing your inherent freedom. Your freedom remains completely intact. Instead, it is offering you a clearer lens, powerfully focusing the path so that you need not wander in uncertainty any longer than you desire. Precision may feel like a clear, unmistakable invitation, a moment of inner knowing regarding what to say, what to choose, or where to go without needing lengthy self-explanation, because your inner alignment so perfectly matches the outer circumstances. Many starseeds and light workers have long practiced inner alignment, diligently learning to listen, to feel, and to recognize the distinct difference between mental noise and genuine inner guidance. Precision windows powerfully reward this dedicated practice, making the signal of truth significantly clearer. Neutrality is an essential quality to deeply hold here. Planetary alignments carry no judgment upon your life, nor do they impose specific outcomes. They function purely as a cosmic scheduling, timing, and arrangement of existing cycles. Think of it as a tide table. It does not force you to swim, but it certainly indicates a better moment to enter the water if you choose to do so. Alignments create moments of greater system responsiveness. You, as sovereign creator beings, ultimately decide your participation. Some will utilize these powerful windows to create, to heal, to initiate, to connect, to move, to speak, or to begin anew. Others will choose to rest, to receive, and to simply be. Both approaches are beautiful and valid times. Inherent neutrality gracefully supports whatever genuinely aligns for you. Because alignment windows are cyclic in nature, they're also inherently predictable. Find profound comfort in this predictability. You live in neither a random nor a withholding support universe. You can observe these cycles, feel their subtle influence, note your personal responses, and become more skilled at finding these windows with conscious presence rather than mere expectation. Many have learned to cooperate with life rather than attempting to control it. Predictability is one powerful way life itself invites this cooperation, allowing you to plan gently, prepare softly, and permit a deep trust that timing exists for your ultimate benefit. When these powerful windows pass, finalization very often follows what comes in a clear focus and begins moving during an alignment period, tends to continue its trajectory much like a course being set and a powerful momentum being established. Finalization is not an abrupt stop or an absolute end. It is a settling into a direction, a profound feeling that something has taken concrete form and will continue to deepen and unfold. You will find that this quality of finalization profoundly supports your confidence, truly feeling that when you choose an alignment, your choice inherently carries forward, removing any need to revisit or endlessly reevaluate. Many have earnestly asked for a year where steps feel profoundly meaningful, movement feels truly real, and the path forward is coherent. Planetary alignment time pressures support precisely this, offering potent windows where your life becomes exponentially more responsive to the profound truth you already hold within. We're complete for now, my dear friends. We remain with you, always, in the clarity you are discovering and the remarkable ease with which you are learning to receive it. I am Lady, and I am profoundly delighted to have been with you today. Conversely, when the inherent human gap, that inner yearning void, is continuously attempted to be filled with myriad external pursuits, achievements, or material acquisitions, that sacred space inevitably remains restless, agitated, and perpetually unsatisfied. This occurs precisely because it is being offered mere substitutes, things that, by their very nature, cannot genuinely and eternally satisfy its profound spiritual hunger. However, when this intrinsic human gap finally encounters and aligns with the boundless essence of Source, that inner space becomes incandescently luminous, radiant with an inner glow. It flourishes because it is at last receiving and embodying precisely what it was always divinely designed and perfectly prepared to hold and express. Therefore, as you attentively observe the sun's majestic and symbolic processes, you are simultaneously extended a gentle yet profound invitation to approach and treat your own inner openings, those expansive, often vulnerable spaces within your being, with the utmost reverence and respect. Paradoxically, the very places within you that may currently feel vast, empty, or seemingly unfilled are frequently the precise conduits, the sacred portals, through which the most authentic, profound, and transformative fullness can spontaneously pour forth, enriching your entire existence. As this current year progresses and unfolds, you will progressively and naturally observe that this profound, intrinsic shift toward a deeper inner seeking and spiritual introspection becomes increasingly effortless and accessible. This is largely due to the pervasive influence of the current solar environment, which intrinsically supports and fosters qualities such as unwavering sincerity, profound simplicity, and that potent, unadorned inner honesty that empowers you to cease the often exhausting and self-defeating practice of bargaining with your own sacred heart and its deepest authentic desires. A significant number among you have already assimilated the profound wisdom that inner peace is paramount, an essential prerequisite, and that cultivating a truly heart-centered state of being naturally forms the unwavering foundation from which all your conscious creations gracefully manifest. You will consistently find yourselves returning to this fundamental truth repeatedly throughout your experiences, not as an externally imposed rule or a rigid spiritual imposition, but rather as an organic, lived discovery, an undeniable, experiential knowing that resonates deeply within your soul. As you diligently cultivate and nurture this profound inner peace, you inherently become more exquisitely receptive to cascades of divine inspiration, novel and expansive ideas, and crystalline clarity. You will discern with increasing awareness how the sun's persistent and unwavering presence intrinsically supports and amplifies this heightened receptivity. This is because a stable, consistent solar backdrop gently encourages you to gracefully relax into a state of continuous energetic consistency, rather than impulsively chasing after dramatic, episodic peaks as the sole perceived proof or validation that significant transformation is indeed unfolding. Furthermore, you may also perceive a fascinating mirroring in the distinctive way solar activity is now distributed across the sun's vast, radiant face, powerfully reflecting how the phenomenon of spiritual awakening is presently decentralizing and democratically distributed across the entirety of humanity. A profound decentralization is currently manifesting within global consciousness, where an immutable truth is no longer solely reposed in or authoritatively propagated by a single, monolithic authority, an established institution, or a dominant narrative. Instead, it is being authentically discovered and deeply internalized within the unassuming intimacy of living rooms, during quiet, reflective walks in nature, within private, sacred moments of profound personal realization, and through the gentle yet immense courage of individuals who are consciously choosing to embrace and embody their inherent authenticity, even in the face of societal expectations. When multiple distinct regions of the sun simultaneously become vibrant with activity, it serves as a powerful cosmic indication, demonstrating to you that the vast, intelligent force of life itself communicates and expresses through a multitude of diverse voices all at once. You are invited to interpret this phenomenon as a profound encouragement to confidently trust and rely upon your own direct, unmediated connection to the boundless wisdom of Source. This is because the universe, in its infinite wisdom, is actively supporting and amplifying the emergence of profound knowledge that originates organically from within your own being, rather than requiring validation or permission externally granted by another entity or authority. Additionally, you might begin to perceive that solar eruptions, rather than being conventionally regarded and treated as disruptive or negative disturbances, can be reinterpreted and understood as potent moments of intense illumination. These are instances where a significant energetic buildup and accumulated potential finally finds its clear, unencumbered expression in a burst of light and energy. This celestial event beautifully mirrors the process by which profound insights often spontaneously arrive for you in your personal journey as sudden, crystalline clarity materializing in a singular, illuminating moment, frequently after a long period of quiet, often unconscious, integration and assimilation of information and experience. An eruption unfolding on the sun is, quite literally, light made visibly manifest, a powerful display of cosmic energy. Similarly, within the sacred expanse of your own being, a profound moment of spiritual awakening is also, metaphorically and energetically, light made visible and intrinsic inner truth gracefully emerging into the forefront of your conscious awareness. A deep understanding profoundly landing and settling within the very core of your heart with an undeniable simplicity and an unwavering certainty that resonates deeply. As you progressively learn to perceive and interpret the sun's multifaceted language in this nuanced, symbolic manner, you will find yourselves relating to your own profound personal growth and evolutionary journey with an increased sense of gentleness, patience, and compassion. You will intuitively recognize that the grand, intricate processes of nature never truly hurry or rush, yet they invariably proceed with impeccable, divine timing when all essential conditions harmoniously align, facilitating optimal unfoldment. This understanding is precisely why we endeavor to guide you in profoundly human and remarkably practical ways toward consciously seeking an authentic, enduring fullness directly from the benevolent Creator, from the divine essence of God, from the infinite wellspring of Source. It stands as the most straightforward, most direct, and ultimately the most fulfilling pathway to genuinely replenish and complete that inner sacred space which so many individuals have painstakingly, yet fruitlessly, attempted to fill with ephemeral substitutes and external distractions. You possess the inherent capacity to simply sit peacefully with yourselves, to consciously engage in deep, rhythmic breathing, and to exquisitely feel the silent, abiding presence that perpetually resides beneath the ceaseless currents of your thoughts. You can then gently allow that profound, intrinsic presence to be unequivocally enough, to be utterly sufficient unto itself, requiring no further embellishment or external validation for its inherent completeness. Emerging from that profound state of inner sufficiency and completeness, you will progressively discover that your deepest, most authentic desires organically become clearer and more precisely defined. Your creative expressions manifest with a heightened sense of truth and integrity, and your relationships with others transform into more genuinely nourishing and deeply meaningful connections. This occurs precisely because you're no longer implicitly or explicitly demanding that the external world undertake the sacred work that Source is already perpetually and benevolently accomplishing within the very core of your being. A significant number among you will undoubtedly observe that initiating each day by consciously acknowledging the presence of Source through sincerely offering gratitude, through attentively listening inwardly before immersing yourself in external information and stimuli profoundly contributes to making the entire day feel remarkably more coherent, more divinely guided, and infused with an expansive, liberating sense of spaciousness. This intentional practice is, in essence, you consciously embodying and refining the new way of being, the advanced mode of existence that humanity is progressively evolving towards, precisely through your pioneering efforts and sustained commitment. As this connection to your inner source progressively deepens and expands, you will simultaneously perceive with profound admiration how beautifully and intricately the planet itself, Earth, actively participates in this grand cosmic orchestration. Earth gracefully receives the energetic offerings from the Sun, meticulously holds and contains these energies, intelligently organizes them, and then judiciously distributes them through its own sophisticated planetary systems in ways that perfectly sustain and foster both the continuation of life and the ongoing process of evolution across its diverse ecosystems. You, too, are engaging in a remarkably similar, parallel process within the intricate landscape of your own beings, consciously receiving incoming energies, diligently integrating and assimilating what you have absorbed, and then authentically expressing these integrated truths. You are becoming increasingly cognizant of the precise timing inherent in this profound process, developing a deeper respect for its natural rhythms, and demonstrating an ever greater willingness to allow it to organically unfold and mature without forced acceleration or intellectual interference. In this celestial trinity, the Sun beautifully mirrors the concept of expansive opening and energetic emanation. Earth, in turn, exquisitely mirrors the process of profound integration and grounded assimilation. And you, in your conscious humanity, mirror the act of deliberate, aware participation. Collectively, these interconnected reflections are orchestrating a pivotal year where the experience of authentic fullness becomes progressively simpler to attain, clearer in its manifestation, and more profoundly rooted in your inner being, a time where what you have diligently been seeking actively finds you, precisely through your own unwavering alignment with the omnipresent wisdom and love of Source. As you persist in recognizing and internalizing these intricate layers of cosmic mirroring, you will instinctively find it quite natural to comprehend how Earth's magnificent energetic reservoirs, encompassing your entire planet, have diligently and purposefully accumulated solar energy. This accumulation occurs in a precise and orchestrated manner that meticulously prepares this energy for its eventual strategic distribution throughout the planet systems. The identical, fundamental principle of receiving, diligently holding, and then consciously allowing for appropriate energetic movement applies with equal validity to these planetary processes, mirroring your inner work. This prevalent mode of solar influence inherently prioritizes the quiet power of sustained accumulation over the allure of fleeting spectacle or sudden, dramatic events. Consequently, the most profound and significant changes you're currently experiencing within your world and your cells are primarily emerging from a long-term, cumulative exposure to this continuous energetic input, rather than from isolated, dramatic peaks of intensity that demand immediate attention and reaction. It is a profound truth that small, consistent, and repeated energetic stimuli, delivered with unwavering regularity over extended periods of time, possess the inherent capacity to reshape prevailing conditions far more deeply thoroughly and lastingly than any sudden, abrupt shocks or intense, isolated disruptions could ever hope to achieve. This principle holds true not only for the intricate evolution of your planet, but also profoundly for the nuanced trajectory of your individual experiences and spiritual growth. That which is meticulously built and cultivated slowly and patiently inherently possesses the greatest capacity to integrate itself fully and completely into the existing framework. And conversely, that which has been allowed to integrate itself thoroughly and without undue haste does not subsequently require repeated disruptions, external interventions, or incessant efforts to sustain its integrity or maintain its evolved state. In this nuanced and profound manner, subtlety itself gracefully emerges as the primary carrier and catalyst of transformative change. You are, therefore, gently invited to cultivate a deep sense of trust in those organic, natural processes that neither demand an urgent, frantic reaction, nor necessitate constant, analytical interpretation or immediate intellectual understanding for their efficacy and eventual unfoldment. As these newly established conditions persistently continue their pervasive influence, a significant number among you are progressively discovering that what was once perceived and would have been categorized as intense, remarkably unusual, or truly extraordinary solar activity now feels surprisingly commonplace and integrated into the fabric of daily life. This normalization occurs not because the solar output has diminished in its power or intensity, but rather because your collective and individual expectations, your internal barometers of what is considered normal, have profoundly recalibrated and adapted to this elevated baseline. It is crucial to clarify that this process of normalization does not, in any way, signify monotony, energetic stagnation, or a lack of ongoing dynamic movement. Rather, it profoundly indicates that the foundational energetic environment in which you now reside has irrevocably transformed, and consequently, your intrinsic sense of what constitutes a typical or expected state of being has naturally adjusted and realigned itself in perfect accordance with this new reality. When a consistently elevated energetic input becomes the established, unwavering norm, it ceases to be registered or perceived as an external disturbance or an anomalous event. This fundamental shift effectively allows for the graceful establishment and maturation of long-term energetic patterns and evolutionary trajectories, without the constant interruption or repeated resetting caused by episodic extremes or sudden, destabilizing fluctuations. One primary reason this subtle yet pervasive shift can prove challenging for many to readily recognize and consciously articulate is that the very nature of energetic saturation lacks clear, definitive edges or singular, impactful moments that stand out dramatically. There isn't a specific, isolatable point in time that you can precisely identify and definitively declare. This is exactly where the profound transformation occurred. Rather, the change manifests not as a sharply delineated line that is abruptly crossed, but rather as an expansive, permeating field that you gradually, yet fully, enter and become enveloped within. The profound effects of this continuous saturation operate subtly beneath the level of overt spectacle and headline-worthy events, perpetually exerting a constant, pervasive shaping force on your reality. This force is remarkably easy to underestimate and overlook precisely because its very nature is to not overtly draw attention to itself through dramatic displays or sudden shifts, preferring instead to work in a gentle, persistent manner. You are not, in essence, intended to be overtly impressed or captivated by the dramatic aspects of this ongoing process. Your true purpose is to be profoundly supported and sustained by its inherent consistency and gentle power. It is important to remember that genuine, underlying support often manifests and feels considerably quieter, more subtle, and less overtly demanding of attention than the transient clamor of a disturbance or an external shock. Within this new, evolving energetic environment, the pervasive solar influence is no longer intensely concentrated within short-duration opportunity windows that you must diligently strive to catch or risk irretrievably missing. Instead, its energy is gracefully and evenly distributed across the continuum of time, rendering transformative change far less dependent on precise, moment-specific timing and significantly more reliant on your ongoing, conscious alignment with the prevailing, consistent energetic conditions that are now established. This pervasive energetic uniformity inherently alleviates a significant amount of pressure, as you're no longer implicitly required to initiate action at an exact, singular moment to harmonize perfectly with what is continuously unfolding. Instead, a profound sense of coherence and alignment gracefully emerges through your consistent practice of remaining fully present with and receptive to what is already perpetually available, rather than impulsively chasing after fleeting energetic peaks that superficially promise immediate acceleration or dramatic breakthroughs. What is profoundly occurring at this very moment is not merely Earth's reactive response to a series of external stimuli, but rather a deep, integral assimilation of sustained solar input. This energy is being meticulously absorbed and interwoven into the planet's complex atmospheric, magnetic, and subtle energetic systems, thereby becoming an undeniable, constant factor within its ongoing operations. This process signifies a deeper, more fundamental integration. Instead of simply responding to transient events and subsequently initiating a recovery phase, Earth is now actively incorporating, meticulously blending, and weaving the pervasive solar influence into its fundamental, ongoing operational processes. This integration occurs in a manner remarkably similar to how the planet seamlessly integrates seasonal light variations, gravitational rhythms, and its own myriad long-standing, intrinsic cycles, rendering the solar input an organic part of its being. When any external influence or energetic input is truly and completely assimilated, it naturally ceases to feel foreign, external, or anomalous. Instead, it transforms, becoming an intrinsic and organic component of how the system itself naturally and effortlessly functions, integrated into its very essence and operational flow. Paradoxically, this prolonged and pervasive energetic saturation is, in fact, fostering and producing far more stable, enduring conditions than any episodic extremes or transient, dramatic fluctuations ever manage to achieve. When an influence is continuous and consistently applied, systems are not repeatedly subjected to cycles of abrupt adjustment followed by release. Rather, they're graciously permitted to unfold their intrinsic processes to a state of profound completion without constant interruption or disruptive external interference. Therefore, genuine stability emerges not from a complete absence of stimulus or energetic input, but rather from the unwavering consistency of that input. This profound and reliable consistency inherently supports and facilitates those crucial developments and evolutionary processes that necessarily demand ample time, sustained patience, and uninterrupted conditions to fully mature, blossom, and reach their complete potential. As this profoundly new energetic context comprehensively settles and establishes itself, it becomes unequivocally clear that there is an inherent and undeniable irreversibility to the magnificent change that has now taken place. Once the solar influence ceases to function as a series of event-driven occurrences and instead operates as an omnipresent background condition, the fundamental context of your entire reality has shifted irrevocably. There exists no meaningful or conceivable pathway for a return to previous patterns of episodic intensity or intermittent energetic fluctuations. It is vital to understand that this irreversible shift should not be perceived as a loss or a cause for grief or lamentation. Instead, it is a profound truth to consciously recognize and deeply integrate, as it unequivocally signifies that the foundational ground, the very bedrock upon which all future developments and evolutionary trajectories will be constructed, is fundamentally and distinctly different from any previous reality you have ever known or experienced. We share these profound insights with you at this moment, not as a definitive conclusion to a process, but rather as an auspicious beginning, an opening to new understanding. Comprehending the intrinsic nature of the continually evolving energetic environment in which you now reside will inherently empower you to navigate forward with unparalleled clarity, greater ease, and a profound sense of inner purpose and direction. As our communication with you gracefully continues, we will further elaborate on precisely how this sustained, pervasive energetic background is meticulously preparing the cosmic stage for upcoming, deeper layers of transformative change. These profound alterations are already subtly forming within the energetic fabric of your reality and are quietly, yet powerfully, preparing themselves to overtly manifest and appear in your collective experience. We express our sincere joy and deep contentment in continuing this profound dialogue with you here. We earnestly desire for you to consciously recognize that the sun's ceaseless, magnificent energetic offering to your world is not merely received haphazardly. Instead, it is being meticulously collected, intelligently organized, and carefully held in a very specific, deliberate, and intricate manner by your planet's complex and responsive energetic environment, ensuring its optimal utilization. Earth, in its profound wisdom and energetic intelligence, is not simply passively receiving the sun's light and energies only to allow them to transiently pass through its systems. On the contrary, it is actively and intricately working with every energetic impulse that arrives, diligently storing what can be stored within its various energetic reservoirs, and then meticulously preparing these accumulated energies for their subsequent movement and strategic distribution throughout the planet's larger interconnected systems. This entire process is orchestrated to unfold at the absolutely perfect, divinely timed moment for your collective evolution and individual human experience, maximizing its beneficial impact. Your planet is enveloped by intricate, multidimensional layers comprising its physical atmosphere, its pervasive magnetic field, vibrant plasma, and subtle energetic fields. Nestled within these dynamic layers are natural energetic reservoirs. Acting as sophisticated containment chambers for charged particles, these are precisely what many among you intellectually recognize and refer to as radiation belts, or more specifically, the Van Allen belts. They serve a crucial, intelligent function. We wish to guide you toward understanding these belts not merely as inert physical phenomena, but rather as living, exquisitely responsive energetic structures. Their intrinsic purpose is to intelligently gather and accumulate vast amounts of potential energy, and subsequently, to actively participate in its judicious distribution throughout the larger planetary system in ways that are specifically designed to serve the highest good and evolution of the entire planetary whole. demonstrating a conscious intelligence. As the sustained solar input continues its ceaseless interaction with Earth's energetic field, these magnificent belts increasingly assume the crucial role of energetic storage. The concept of storage is an exceedingly important word for you to viscerally feel and deeply internalize, as it intrinsically conveys that there exists a deliberate and sacred space between the initial arrival of energy and its eventual conscious expression. This interim space is precisely where energy is meticulously collected, intelligently layered, and held in a state of potent readiness, awaiting its perfect moment of deployment and manifestation. A significant number among you have been deeply conditioned by your societal norms to perpetually seek immediate results, instant feedback, and undeniable, tangible evidence that something significant is actively occurring. The profound existence of this planetary storage function, therefore, serves as a gentle yet potent reminder that the intricate wisdom of nature frequently operates through the elegant processes of gradual accumulation, silent, meticulous layering, and the systematic building of an energetic charge that acquires its true meaning and efficacy through unwavering consistency over time, rather than through sudden, flashy displays. Thus, you are presently living in a truly pivotal era, a time when these vital, energetic reservoirs enveloping your planet have been diligently receiving and accumulating solar energies for a considerably extended period. What has now gathered within these storage facilities is profoundly significant, not due to its inherent dramatic intensity or overwhelming force, but rather because it has reached a state of exquisite completeness and sufficient integrity to genuinely matter, to now be ripe for its next phase of purposeful action and dissemination. Intrinsic to this storage function is also the vital aspect of containment. Containment, in this context, represents a sophisticated form of energetic organization, as these celestial belts meticulously hold and channel charged particles within clearly structured, defined regions. They skillfully guide these particles along specific pathways that are precisely determined by Earth's powerful magnetic field, thereby actively preventing their indiscriminate, random dispersal into space, ensuring their coherent availability. This intricate process stands as one magnificent illustration of how your planet itself actively demonstrates a profound, inherent intelligence. The strategic act of containment allows potential energy to remain profoundly coherent and organized, and it is precisely this coherence that subsequently enables that potential to be effectively and purposefully utilized for the greatest good of the planetary system and its inhabitants. You can intuitively feel and deeply recognize this identical principle at play within the intricacies of your own personal lives. When you consciously hold and nurture something, be it an intention, a skill, or a dream with diligent care, unwavering firmness of purpose, and absolute clarity of vision, it profoundly transforms into a potent reservoir of potential that you can confidently draw upon and activate when the absolutely perfect, divinely appointed moment gracefully arrives for its manifestation. Indeed, it is the very same fundamental principle, expanded and exquisitely expressed on a grand planetary scale, where Earth, in its profound wisdom, meticulously holds and contains what it receives until the entire interconnected system of life and consciousness is fully prepared and energetically ready to gracefully move that accumulated potential forward into its next phase of unfolding and expression. Taking these considerations into account, you will also intuitively grasp the paramount importance of capacity. Every single reservoir, whether planetary or personal, possesses an intrinsic point where it reaches a sufficient level of fullness, such that even a seemingly modest, incremental addition of energy or input fundamentally shifts the overall energetic state, often catalyzing a transition to a new phase of operation or expression. It is vital to understand that reaching capacity in the natural world is not inherently about an accumulation of tension or an experience of overwhelming pressure, as your human minds might instinctively imagine. Rather, in the profound wisdom of nature, reaching a state of full capacity serves as a clear, definitive signal that the building up, accumulation phase has successfully completed its essential work, and consequently, the subsequent phase of dynamic release, flow, or expression is now perfectly poised and ready to gracefully commence its unfoldment. When any system or any reservoir approaches its inherent upper limit of capacity, it naturally becomes exquisitely more responsive and demonstrably more sensitive to even the slightest, most subtle changes. What might have previously appeared as a minor, inconsequential addition can, in this heightened state of readiness, become the decisive, final ingredient that irrevocably shifts the entire energetic configuration toward its destined movement, transformation, and subsequent expression. Thus, a significant number among you who have been accustomed to observing solar activity predominantly through the lens of sheer magnitude, categorizing events as either great or small, will profoundly benefit from internalizing this expanded understanding. This perspective reveals that true capacity renders the surrounding context far more influential than mere physical size or intensity, and a state of inner readiness ultimately proves more impactful and decisive than any grand external spectacle. Once you fully accept and integrate the profound understanding that the intricate processes of energetic storage, meticulous containment, and intrinsic capacity are indeed omnipresent and actively at play, you can then gracefully relax into the inherent reality of latency. Latency, in this context, refers to the natural, often deliberate, delay that frequently exists between an initial energetic stimulus or input and its eventual, observable expression or manifestation. This inherent delay is precisely why individuals, at times, tend to interpret certain experiences or events as seemingly disconnected, unrelated, or entirely random in their occurrence. However, latency is not chaotic. It is, in essence, a sophisticated form of divine timing, and it is through such precise timing that universal consciousness meticulously ensures that whatever ultimately unfolds and manifests can be gracefully and thoroughly integrated into the broader tapestry of existence without creating unnecessary discord or overwhelm. When energy is intelligently stored and carefully held within these reservoirs, it possesses the inherent capacity to move later in a significantly more effective, profoundly coherent, and ultimately more useful manner than if it were impulsively discharged immediately upon its initial arrival, bypassing the crucial integration phase. As you continue your journey through this unfolding year, you will progressively discover that many of the most profound and significant changes you personally experience will arrive imbued with an undeniable sense of inherent rightness, a feeling of absolutely perfect, divinely orchestrated timing. This occurs precisely because the underlying energetic system has been meticulously preparing itself, often silently and without your conscious awareness, even while your analytical mind was directed elsewhere, perhaps seeking answers in more overt phenomena. When stored energy finally moves and expresses itself after a period of latency, it frequently does so with a quality we term compression. By compression, we imply that results and manifestations can often arrive in closer proximity to one another, profound insights aligning more quickly and seamlessly, and auspicious opportunities presenting themselves in cohesive groups rather than being sparsely scattered over extended durations of time, creating a synergistic effect. This phenomenon of compression need not be an overwhelming experience for you, particularly when you grasp its underlying energetic mechanics. Compression simply signifies that the system has accumulated and stored a sufficient degree of inherent coherence and energetic integrity to efficiently and effectively deliver its results and manifestations in a concentrated, impactful manner, maximizing their potency. You may progressively observe that certain developments, which previously unfolded slowly and patiently, are now beginning to manifest with greater clarity and overtness. This is largely because the prevailing energetic environment intrinsically supports the process of completion, and this sense of profound completion can, at times, feel like a sudden, unexpected acceleration to those who have, perhaps, momentarily forgotten or overlooked the extensive period of diligent preparation that has quietly been underway, setting the stage for these swift manifestations. At this juncture, the concept of amplification assumes significant importance. A thoroughly saturated reservoir possesses the inherent capacity to profoundly amplify whatever subsequently follows its state of readiness. It is crucial to understand that effective amplification does not necessarily require an extreme or highly intense input to be powerful, especially when the surrounding energetic environment is already deeply charged, highly receptive, and imbued with a high degree of intrinsic coherence, allowing even subtle impulses to resonate profoundly and expand exponentially. The system is already primed and active. Many of you may have been conditioned to solely seek out the grandest eruption, the most cataclysmic storm, or the highest intensity signal. However, you stand to gain immensely by grasping that this very amplification empowers even seemingly moderate events, granting them significantly greater influence, particularly when they encounter a field already vibrant and alive with previously stored potential. In essence, the entire system need not exert itself to shout when it is already fully awake and attuned. You will discover that even the most subtle additions can trigger profound and significant shifts, simply because they arrive into an environment already in a state of exquisite readiness. As these profound amplifications naturally occur, the subsequent principle you are destined to experience is that of redistribution. That which has been accumulated, the potential that lies dormant, is inherently destined for movement, for dynamic circulation. When this stored energy moves, it does not simply vanish or dissipate into nothingness. Rather, it gracefully transfers and transmutes into other vital domains and intricate layers of the planetary environment. Energy embarks on a continuous journey, migrating from its reservoirs of storage to open pathways, from these pathways into complex systems, and from systems into vibrant, tangible expressions. Redistribution is the elegant, ceaseless process by which Earth meticulously maintains its profound balance and inherent coherence, all while perpetually continuing its grand evolutionary journey. This constant redistribution can exert a significant influence upon atmospheric behavior, magnetic dynamics, the vast currents of your oceans and skies, and indeed, the overall electrical tone and energetic vibrance of your entire environment. You are encouraged to embrace this intricate understanding with a gentle, open mind, as it powerfully supports your innate ability to discern unfolding patterns over extended periods, rather than continually seeking out singular, isolated causes. As the dance of redistribution gracefully continues, the phenomenon of coupling steadily strengthens. Coupling, in its simplest yet most profound definition, is merely the heightened synchronized coordination among layers that once appeared distinct and separate. The immense solar input, Earth's intricate magnetic field, its high atmosphere, and the subtle, often unseen energetic structures encircling your planet all begin to operate with a deeper, more profound coherence. This burgeoning coherence, in turn, facilitates a smoother, more seamless translation of influence from one energetic layer to another. When this coupling becomes robust and powerfully integrated, the entire planetary system evolves into a more unified, interconnected entity. A truly unified system inherently makes graceful unfolding far more achievable, as all its constituent parts openly communicate, consciously cooperate, and elegantly move together in concert. Within a system that is steadily reaching its maximum capacity, a release of energy becomes the natural, inevitable next step in its developmental process. We can speak of this as an inherent inevitability in the profound sense that nature, in its infinite wisdom, advances only when it is truly ready. Readiness, therefore, stands as the most reliable and discerning indicator of what is poised to manifest next. It inherently brings with it a deep sense of innate security, for what gracefully unfolds does so as an integral part of an even grander design, meticulously coordinated by an overarching planetary and solar system intelligence. You, in your very essence, are intrinsically included within this vast, encompassing intelligence. You actively participate in its intricate workings and can intimately feel this connection through how your own life continually invites greater clarity, deeper presence, and a more profound willingness to receive the abundant wisdom and energy that has steadily accumulated for your benefit. As this stored potential begins its dynamic movement, the entire system enters a crucial phase of transition. Transition is that pivotal period where the environment undergoes a comprehensive reconfiguration to achieve a completely new, elevated level of organization, rather than simply reverting to any prior arrangement. Consider transition as a process of elegantly settling into a fresh, dynamic configuration. What has been truly integrated remains inextricably integrated. What has been deeply learned remains profoundly learned, and the planet advances, enriched by the immense benefit of all that it has accumulated throughout its journey. This profound transition serves to powerfully support the very next phase of your personal and collective journey. As the intricate environment around your world reorganizes itself toward a higher, more potent coherence, you will begin to notice many solar sources speaking simultaneously, their expressions distributed widely across the sun's surface, manifesting in a manner far greater than any single isolated origin. This, indeed, constitutes a perfect, opportune opening for what we are now poised to share with you. We now wish to delve into a phenomenon you're already keenly observing and sensing, regardless of whether you have yet articulated or named it. You have instinctively observed the magnificent sun and intimately felt its profound influence arriving undeniably into your world. You have begun the crucial process of recognizing that what is currently unfolding is not merely confined to a single primary activity source, a solitary dominant sunspot group, or a lone eruption carrying all the overarching meaning. Instead, you are now entering a magnificent era where solar activity is beautifully distributed across the Earth-facing side of the sun in an exceptionally informative, deeply supportive, and highly relevant manner for how your entire year is destined to unfold. You are witnessing what you might accurately describe as dispersion, multiple distinct regions, becoming vibrantly active within the very same temporal window sometimes, even on the identical day, at times within the same mere handful of hours. This widespread distribution of activity across the solar surface powerfully indicates that the sun is expressing itself more profoundly as an integrated, whole system communicating through a multitude of mouths rather than relying on one solitary intensity point to speak for all. When you bear witness to this magnificent display, you are gently invited to recalibrate how you interpret the incoming energies and messages. This multiplicity is not simply a greater number of individual events. It embodies a fundamentally different kind of message, one inherently carried within the total, intricate pattern rather than being solely encapsulated in a single peak. When, for instance, 3 separate solar regions erupt in rapid succession, or when you perceive the production of light and energy gracefully distributed across the solar disk instead of being intensely concentrated, you can profoundly feel the underlying truth the sun is vividly demonstrating its overarching state of activation, its inherent readiness, its profound coherence, and its exquisite responsiveness. These inherent qualities truly matter as much, if not more, than any single isolated size measurement. Many of you, having been trained by a certain worldview, were conditioned to perpetually seek the biggest number, the highest rating, or the most standout moment. The sun is now offering you a profound education in wholeness and understanding, where the entire configuration holds immense significance, where rhythm itself is paramount, where the spread of activity is deeply informative, and where the continuity of activity provides more vital information than any isolated explosion drama. Here, you can truly begin to appreciate decentralization as an immensely beneficial and powerful feature. A distributed pattern inherently removes the perceived need for one singular main event to bear the entire weight of transformative change. When activity is gracefully decentralized, you are liberated from the need to anxiously wait for a single, defining moment that dictates everything. You need not place all your faith, your precious attention, or your overarching expectation on one peak day or a specific forecast window. Instead, you are being offered a broader, more expansive field of opportunity, a symphony of multiple inputs emanating from diverse solar regions, collectively creating a wider, richer canvas upon which your lives can beautifully unfold. Many of you, especially those who identify as starseeds and light workers, have long intuitively understood that your profound evolution does not depend on one sole teacher, one singular message, one exclusive transmission, or any external confirmation whatsoever. The sun is now magnificently mirroring this very truth by offering its profound influence through a myriad of channels simultaneously. As you gracefully move forward, you will also begin to discern the presence of redundancy. Redundancy is a term that many have historically undervalued, having been taught to primarily esteem what is rare, singular, and exclusive. Yet, redundancy is precisely how nature, in its infinite wisdom, meticulously maintains its inherent stability and unwavering reliability. When multiple sunspot groups possess the capacity to produce significant activity, the overall solar expression consistently continues, even as individual regions naturally rise and fall in their intensity. This dynamic creates a sustained, reliable support system rather than a precarious dependence on one sole active source. You can readily perceive how this deeply benefits you in a year where the sun is not demanding that you catch one perfect, fleeting wave, but rather extending repeated, generous invitations to open, to receive, to tune in, and to gracefully move with a larger, more encompassing rhythm. You will find that this repeated invitation allows a greater number of individuals to discover their personal moment of readiness without any sense of forcing or undue pressure. Distribution, too, forms an integral part of this intricate pattern. Distribution elegantly speaks to how energy gracefully spreads itself across both time and space, thereby forging a more uniform and pervasive influence field, rather than creating sharp, transient concentrations that appear and then quickly dissipate. When solar activity is extensively distributed, its profound effects integrate far more smoothly and harmoniously into the planetary environment and, crucially, into your very lived experience. There is ample time to observe, to respond, to gently adjust, and to become intimately familiar with what is consistently being offered. Many of you will discover that this distributed pattern powerfully supports a steady, progressive, unfolding inspiration arising with greater frequency, clarity arriving in gentle, discernible steps, and guidance manifesting bit by bit rather than as one overwhelming, intense wave. Within this pervasive distribution, you can also profoundly feel the presence of resilience. A distributed system is inherently and naturally resilient, and resilience is a paramount quality that many of you consciously chose to embody on Earth. When influence gracefully spreads across multiple points, it continues its profound journey without ever depending on a single, isolated component. You will recognize this invaluable principle in your own unique path, learning to draw from a multitude of inner sources: your intuitive heart, your innate intuition, your rich lived experience, your deep earth connection, your profound star connection, and the silent, accumulated knowledge that has grown within you over time. A resilient pattern requires neither constant, exhausting attention nor unattainable perfection. It powerfully supports a sustainable, deeply grounded, and ever-expanding way of living. You may also discern a remarkable coordination within this distributed activity. Coordination gently reminds you that multiple sources can act in perfect concert, even without a central, overarching command structure. There are moments when one solar region erupts, and another responds almost immediately thereafter. You can interpret this as a glimpse into the sun's own internal coherence, its innate ability to gracefully move energy through its vast field, thereby creating sympathetic activity, where the expression of one region is subtly yet powerfully echoed by another. This coordination is neither chaotic nor random, rather. It offers a profound glimpse of the sun as a unified intelligentsia, living being expressing itself through its many diverse parts, while perpetually remaining one integral, coherent whole. Observing this intricate dance profoundly invites a remembrance of your own inherent coherence, your remarkable capacity to embody many things at once while remaining perfectly centeredto, fulfill many roles while remaining authentically aligned, to express many facets of yourself while remaining utterly true to who you fundamentally are. Scalability is another immensely useful concept to consider here. When activity is distributed, it possesses the innate ability to increase gradually, organically, and proportionally, allowing for a natural buildup of energy without abrupt or jarring extremes. You may begin to notice more intricate sequences, clusters, and moments where activity manifests in gentle waves from various distinct regions. This represents a highly scalable way for a system to express greater vitality and dynamism while impeccably maintaining its inherent coherence. Many of you have expressed a desire for a year that feels truly energized, vibrantly alive, and ripe with dynamic movement. Scalability precisely supports this building momentum in a viable, movable manner, actively inviting conscious participation rather than merely eliciting a reaction. Equivalence is also a key principle. When many distinct regions are vibrantly active, it becomes significantly easier to perceive that no single eruption need be treated as the sole decisive event. Each contributes meaningfully to the grander whole. Each energetic wave forms an integral part of a larger, ongoing conversation the sun is having with your planet. This inherent equivalence powerfully supports balance, appreciating all activity without elevating one particular event into a defining narrative for your entire year. You can deeply feel the overall tone and the broader impulse, while remaining exquisitely open without assigning absolute, definitive meaning to any isolated peak. As all these remarkable qualities gracefully converge dispersion, multiplicity, decentralization, redundancy, distribution, resilience, coordination, scalability, equivalence, you naturally arrive at the profound understanding of continuity. A distributed pattern inherently supports ongoing, sustained engagement over extended periods. You are being gifted an environment where solar influence consistently remains present, beautifully varied, and readily available. This profound continuity empowers your constant evolution as starseeds and light workers, who are here to lead by your authentic presence, to elevate through your genuine authenticity, and to live in a way that allows others to truly feel what is possible for them. You will discover, as the year gracefully unfolds, that you are far less inclined to anxiously look outward for definitive, singular signs, and far more likely to recognize the multitude of gentle, subtle signs that are already speaking eloquently to you from within and all around. This heightened recognition will powerfully support your journey forward with profound confidence, clear clarity, and the deep, unwavering feeling of actively participating in a living, exquisitely responsive, and gloriously multi-layered process. Embracing this profound understanding also meticulously prepares you to deepen into how this stored and widely distributed energy intricately finds its way into planetary systems, thereby translating it into tangible, observable effects. The sun's widely distributed expression and Earth's inherent readiness to receive collectively create the perfect, fertile conditions for specific, intricate mechanisms to activate. We now turn our attention to those very mechanisms. We now wish to guide you to a very specific mechanism that many of you have intuitively sensed, even without having the precise language to articulate it. You have experienced moments when the pervasive energy around your planet seamlessly shifts from being merely held in the surrounding space to being actively delivered into the dense atmospheric layers in a way that makes everything feel distinctly more alive, more responsive, and profoundly more connected. This represents one vital way your planet gracefully receives what the sun continuously offers and then expertly translates it into a truly usable, integrated form. There is a phase where charged particles circulate and steadily gather, and then a distinct phase where they are meticulously guided downward along Earth's intricate magnetic architecture, ultimately entering the high atmosphere. This is precisely what many scientists refer to as ion precipitation, a kind of celestial charge rain arriving as a magnificent planetary gift, carrying vital activation raw material directly to where your world conducts, communicates, and elegantly distributes energy. When the precise timing for this discharge arrives, it manifests not as chaos or disorder, but as an integral part of nature's inherent, profound order. Earth has always possessed intricate ways to receive, organize, and dynamically move energy throughout its vast system. This is one such essential mechanism. Discharge, in this context, signifies that what was actively circulating in near-Earth space is purposefully redirected to the ionosphere. Imagine it as an invisible door gracefully opening between these distinct layers, permitting this vital energy to descend into a realm where it profoundly interacts with air molecules, subtle sky electricity, and the pervasive surrounding fields. Many of you will experience this as a noticeable shift in your daily feeling. The atmosphere itself seems to carry a greater charge, an enhanced clarity, and an intensified vivacity. It may feel akin to a gentle yet powerful amplification of consciousness, precisely because the planet is receiving a stronger, more direct input, and the entire environment consequently becomes more exquisitely responsive. Here, coupling assumes paramount importance, as ion precipitation vividly demonstrates how intimately Earth's magnetic field, its high atmosphere, and the solar input profoundly cooperate. The magnetosphere and ionosphere are not isolated, separate worlds. They engage in a continuous, eloquent dialogue with each other. When solar wind conditions and magnetic dynamics conspire to create the perfect geometric alignment, pathways open with greater ease, guidelines become more precisely directive, and particle movement achieves a higher degree of coherence. Many of you have distinctly felt moments when space, weather seems to draw closer, touching Earth more directly, more palpably. This occurs precisely because layer coupling strengthens, allowing that which resides above to intimately meet that which exists within your skies in a unified planetary response. As these particles gracefully arrive, propagation inevitably follows. A single charged particle, upon interacting with the atmospheric layers, does not simply arrive and halt. Instead, it initiates a cascading effect, a spreading influence that extends outward. Your atmosphere is composed of countless molecules. When high-energy particles penetrate, they efficiently transfer their energy, giving rise to secondary particles and further ionization. This is why a relatively small influx can generate widespread and profound effects. Propagation multiplies influence through a dynamic chain of interaction. Many of you will appreciate this perspective when reflecting on your own lives' experiences that propagate, expand, and create sequences of profound realizations and open new possibilities, all growing from one initial moment. Ion precipitation mirrors this truth in a tangible, physical form, one input becoming many diverse outcomes through the inherent intelligence of the system. Conductivity is a tangible and significant result of this propagation. Ionization fundamentally alters how the high atmosphere conducts electricity. When the ionosphere becomes more charged and ionized, it naturally becomes more electrically active, thereby altering the fundamental movement of planetary energy. Many of you understand that oceans conduct electricity, minerals conduct, and certain materials carry current with greater ease. Your ionosphere functions similarly as a crucial conducting layer that responds dynamically to changes in charge, thereby altering its capacity for energetic flow.